You should see this brilliant build-up idea by Emery against Arteta's aggressive high press. And if you don't, you are really missing out on the brilliance of our beautiful game. So Arteta went full man-to-man against Emery's Villa, especially in central areas. Arsenal centre-backs were willing to follow Villa's slow pace deep into their own defensive third, and that alone shows how extreme the press was. Because of that, Villa had almost no central progression. The only clear outlet was the fullback. But why was he free? So Arsenal's left winger was instructed to stay narrow. His job wasn't to press wide, it was to stay compact and block passes into the half space. If the winger stepped out, the centre back behind him would simply take over the dropper. The objective was very clear. It was to restrict Villa's central progression and to neutralize Rodgers' ball carrying ability. So naturally this forced Villa wide to potential touchline traps. It was a high risk, high reward approach from Arteta, but Emery had a subtle and smart solution for that. Villa intentionally played into the fullback, not as a safe option, but as a trigger. As soon as the winger stepped out to press, Villa used inside diagonals to access Rodgers in the half space. But now Rodgers would receive with a centre back, closing him from behind. That situation looks dangerous, and it is dangerous. But that's exactly where the opportunity lies. If that centre back is beaten while stepping out, Arsenal's entire defensive structure collapse. So Emery destabilized Arsenal using what looked like the same attacking box shape they used against Chelsea. But it was never static. Those were attackers constantly switched between a box and a diamond. In a box, Arsenal's midfield could control them. The moment it stretched into a diamond, Arsenal's backline had to react by stretching, and this means one centre back became isolated. From there, Emery had two clear routes to exploit it. The first was purely technical. Rodgers receives, turns, and beats the centre back. So this is an unnecessary risk taking. It's actually calculated risk. So here Rodgers can beat the centre back if the pass from the fullback was perfectly weighted to his right foot. A defender arriving late from behind always struggles to defend a diagonal pass played away from his momentum. And that's basic elite level football. On another occasion, the pass was slightly off. So Rodgers had to adjust and the tempo died and Arsenal recovered. So that's the tiny margin. And that's where the execution matters a lot. So once Rodgers beat that man, Watkins can be immediately released against an isolated centre back. But again, the quality of the final pass and the one-v-one ability of a striker plays a crucial role. And against Arsenal, Rodgers failed in the technical execution. His passes weren't that good, and they could not capitalize the benefit of this tactical system from Emery. On the left side, the idea stayed similar, but the structure changed. Since Rodgers operated on the right, there wasn't any natural dropper on the left. Instead, Villa played inside diagonals to a center midfielder arriving in the half space. So here the speed of circulation was everything. Villa had to move the ball wide before Arsenal could shift their block. The idea is to get into the half space before the isolated midfielder move across the pitch to close him down. Here the trick was to exploit the large distance he has to cover. When compared to the short distance, Villa midfielder has to move to be that free option. The idea was strong. It wasn't any complicated. But once again, the execution failed. And it was a big issue. They were slow to move the ball, and Arsenal's midfielder was able to close down the half space player. For me, it wasn't on Emery. He created the best platform for the players to beat the aggressive press from Arteta, but they failed in the execution. So there was one tweak that could have exposed Arsenal, and it was replacing Buendia with a runner. So Emery's intention was to have a technical player in between the lines, and for that he used Buendia. But the advantage of his technicality can only be benefited if he can receive balls here. But since Arsenal was preventing those central progression, you have to target the space in behind by releasing runners. But here, Emery used Buendia, who is in the building runner. So by using Buendia as that half space player, Emery made life easier for Subimendi. So instead of Buendia, If he used a willing runner like Malan or someone like Rashford, who was with Villa last season, things would have been much better. Even their captain Muggen could have offered much more. So overall, Emery's system was brilliant. His attacking diamond was able to destabilize the Arsenal structure consistently, but players wasn't able to implement those ideas on the ground. There were good movements, but the technical execution was missing. The first half was actually better from Villa because they were able to create a minimum of 4 good chances from the build-up. But during a goal kick situations, their build-up wasn't working as expected. And in the second half, they considered from the corner, and from there they started to make mistakes, and Arsenal capitalized on those silly mistakes during the build-up situation. Things could have been way better if Kamara was there alongside Onana, and Tielemans was pushed on as the attacking midfielder. For me personally, Emery had a better tactical system than Arteta. But as always, it's the players who has to implement these tactics, and if they fail, the blame should be gone to the manager also. And I genuinely feel sorry for the master technician in Emery. So see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.